What is up, fight fans? You're inside with Roy. Taking a bit of a hiatus, but I'm back, baby. Yeah, a few weeks off, bit of creative block, but I heard the news yesterday and I thought I'd do a quick video on Johnny Fisher, the Romford Bull. He has signed with Zuffa Boxing Promotions. It's a massive coup for them, and it's a really good deal for him. I don't know the ins and outs of the contract, but I just know that the big figure that people are talking about yesterday, and it came from Eddie Hearn himself, who was the former promoter of Johnny Fisher, was that he would be paid, something like 6 to 7 times the amount that Matchroom would pay for a fight, or pay him, generally speaking. And it was just money that Matchroom weren't prepared to pay because it didn't make commercial sense. So yeah, let's get into it. So if you don't know who Johnny Fisher is and you're watching this channel, let me give you a quick brief overview. So Johnny Fisher comes from Essex, the United Kingdom, and he is a heavyweight boxer with 14 wins and 1 defeat, 12 knockouts. He is a massive draw in the UK. He has a huge following. His dad is a big social media star, and they basically say the term bosh all the time. So that's their catchphrase or their catch term, saying like bosh, like it's great, like everything is bosh. And it's really cool. They're really quite funny. They're really likable people. And yeah, Johnny Fisher is a gentleman. I think he's one of the true gents of the sport. He's like a really likable fellow, and because he's got this massive social media following, he doesn't have to play the heel or play the villain or trash talk or anything like that. He's really quite respectable, or respectful. So I think there was a lot of hype around Johnny Fisher, the Romford Bull, because he comes from an area called Romford in Essex. And there was a lot of hype around him. People were really excited about this young guy. The big thing about him also is that he's not your average fighter, like who has just been living in the gym his whole life. He actually has a university degree. He's got like a 2-1, which is a really good qualification in history, or like really good results from the University of Exeter, which is a good university as well. And yeah, big respect on that front. He's not just a fighting man. He's got other kind of avenues that he can go down. And yeah, he's fought in the UK primarily, but he's also fought in the US as well. And he's smoked most of his opponents. As I said, he's got like 12 knockouts. His biggest win is against a guy called Alan the Savage Babbage, who was a big knockout artist for a long time, a few years ago, especially kind of pre-COVID. And he saw his ass against Johnny Fisher. Johnny Fisher cleaned his clock, and I think that was obviously a very impressive win. He then went and had a split decision kind of victory against Dave Allen. It wasn't a kind of victory. It was basically a split decision win that most people would have scored it for Dave Allen. Just one of those things. In Saudi Arabia about 2 years ago, and they had a rematch, and he was found out pretty badly against Dave Allen, who himself admittedly is not, he's a good fighter, and on his day he's a very good fighter, but he's not maybe his fringe level, but he's definitely not, or he's kind of moving to the journeyman phase of his career now, like high paid prize fighter phase of his career, but he's never been world level. And I don't think you could say Johnny Fisher was world level at any point, because they were still building him up. But he got found out pretty badly against Dave Allen, and then he had another fight afterwards against a journeyman who exposed some more limitations in his game. And yeah, I think a lot of people kind of not wrote him off, but they were like, well, Johnny Fisher is what he is. He's entertaining, he's a come forward fighter, he's a big heavyweight, he's a big man, we like him, from a social media standpoint as well, and the aura around him and his family. But we're not going to see him fighting Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Agit Kabayel, anyone, even Murat Garcia, we're not seeing him in against them. And if he does fight someone at that level, he gets smoked. Simple as that. So, Zuffa Boxing now coming in and basically signing him up is true intent on their need to get marketable athletes on their roster in the UK. So the biggest signing for them obviously has been Conor Ben from a UK standpoint. That was a massive coup for them. And to date, it's been a good one because obviously he's brought a lot of shine to the Zuffa Boxing, or shade, but no publicity is bad publicity, and that was what they wanted. They wanted this massive marquee name, and then now they need to prop up their brand in the UK and globally with other big fighters who are going to just sell the brand and sell tickets, no matter who they fight. And Johnny Fisher is the perfect example of that. They obviously have the money to pay him, to get him to move. Low loyalty in the game. I don't think Eddie Hearn was on TalkSport saying that he actively almost encouraged him to take it because he knew that it would be life-changing money, that he just could not commercially for his product and DAZN pay him. Like, it just wouldn't make sense, based on the level of opposition that he was fighting and the end product. Just couldn't do it. So yeah, I think he's next out on September the 26th at the Copper Box. He's gonna headline that. Opponent TBA, but we're expecting it to be someone at least with a pulse. Someone who's going to give him something, some sort of back and forth, because it's going to be very disappointing if they announce like a no-name brand journeyman that. They kind of need to give him a winnable fight against like a beatable opponent. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think that'll be big. Their matchmaking has been kind of hit and miss to this point. Obviously, the Chris Billum-Smith, Ryan Rizicki fight was, fight of the year contender at the very least. It was a brilliant fight. And that obviously brought a lot of credibility to them as a promotion, that they were able to deliver something like that. But that was also very unique as well because, it's an odd division, the cruiserweight division, and, those two guys were just like, they were a match made in heaven. So let's see what they do for Johnny Fisher. I think that'll be really interesting. But all in all, I'm happy for the big man. I think it's a really good signing for Zuffa Boxing. I don't think anyone can have any complaints really about this, but let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm talking jazz and you think anything different in the comments section below. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me and the channel. We are growing slowly but surely, and yeah, excited to produce some more content and not take such long breaks in the future. So yeah, all the best everyone. Have a good Thursday, or have a good Tuesday.